There's no power. He's played to stun it, hasn't he, done? It was he'd lost all the strength of the pot on the way down. And this lead was pretty good where the balls were a moment ago, but it could evaporate very quickly where they are now.
And even the yellow and green are okay, because if he gets on the yellow eventually he'll only have to drop it in to leave the green.
9.
And that's about perfect. So he's just looking at the red now to see where he wants to leave that, to get himself onto the blue and then just screw over behind the yellow.
$40. 50.
Now, has he got the angle? Because he needs to get somewhere near the circle to leave a nice easy yellow, just to roll the yellow in and get on the green, but he can't screw directly there, so he's going to have to be a bit careful. A little bit further up the table, he could have just screwed the blue in and got nicely on that. I mean, he could go between the brown and pink, but how accurate would that have to be? And that's what he's done, and he's hit the brown. So it was the previous shot that was the poor one. He's going to have to try and get the snooker now in behind the green and brown. Well, behind the pink will do.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 20.
No problem hitting this, but can he get it safe? He'd like to hit it full ball and leave the white at this end and not the yellow past the middle pocket, but he'll have to hit it hard to do that. Anything but a jaw should be okay.
Well, there's a little bit sticking out, and well, I'm just wondering if he hits this thin enough and misses the black, he'd head back up the table. Playing it off the cushion, and that's pretty good. Oh, he's close. He's in.
Foul.
But listen,
Mark Selby, 4.
Could it be a free ball? Now then, Brendan Moore will put the white. He'll just check the D and put the white right at the edge of the D, just to check that he can hit both sides of it. No free ball. Great to see Brendan doing his first World Championship final. One of the nicest lads you could ever wish to meet, and one of the best referees we've got in the game. And he's absolutely delighted. He's been talking about it for quite a while. All the family are here to support him. So well done, Brendan. You're doing a great job.
Decision time. It's a very easy snooker, but is he going to try and drop the pink in? Sorry, the yellow in the middle. Looks like he's playing the snooker with the way he's queuing. Don't blame him for that at all. And this is, with the green being where it is, I think Ronnie can just get through the gap of the green and brown to the cushion. He played off 2 cushions trying to hit it right from behind. Just then the yellow past the middle again. Not bound to go right this one. Wasn't bound to go right this one. So Selby has a chance now to win the frame.
if he's got the angle to screw this in anywhere near the white line, or just short of it, and he'd be perfect on the green. Oh, he's played it well. He's played it well.
2. Five. Nine.
He should be okay. Easy blue, and he'll be mighty relieved after missing a long red and putting Ronnie right in amongst them.
14.
Yeah. Vicky and her parents delighted there. I think it was so important for Mark Selby to take this frame. He lost the first 3, and now he's won 2 in a row, but he still trails by 1 frame. It's 3-2 to Ronnie.
And he certainly has a foothold in this game. A reminder of the situation in the world rankings now. Snooker's changing to a money list this season coming. From a points list. So there you go. It's Ding Junhui. Neil Robertson, having lost in the semi-final last night, relinquishes the #1 spot to Ding Junhui. Congratulations to him. It's the first time he's been there. But he too could be overhauled were Mark Selby to win this final. He'd go back to world #1. Ronnie O'Sullivan, well, he can go up to #3 and he would be some £132 behind Neil Robertson. Remember, they've already added the 125,000 for both Mark and Ronnie for having got to this final. There's another 175,000 to be added for the winner of this. And as you can see, Ronnie was world ranked #33, shooting up this new system to #4. Ken and John, this is going to make a massive difference to the way you players pick and choose your events on the calendar.
And I think it suits the likes of Ronnie and particularly some of the top players, because they can play in the bigger events without sort of, you know, having a lot of pressure to go into some of the smaller events, and that in turn will help the players down the list as well, because what happens is those players that are down the list struggling for money, they won't be running into the likes of Neil Robertson or Ronnie O'Sullivan in the first round when they're trying to get a few bob together. So it has a knock-on effect all the way down, so I think it's good for everybody.
John, you think it's a good move?
I think it's brilliant. I think it's, like I said before, I think it's a nirvana for the top players. They can just go and pick and choose what they want to do. They're not forced by the ranking point situation to play and everything. And you can also see from that money list what a brilliant job they've done, because there's lots of players in lots of money now. There's plenty of tournaments, so well done to the association and Barry and everyone, because it really is a proper circuit now with plenty of money on offer.
Yeah, I mean, a few years ago, you know, we only had 6 ranking tournaments. Now the guys will have at their disposal almost 30 tournaments to play in every year. So it's a full-time job now as opposed to being a part-time job. They've done a remarkable job, World Snooker.
A 2-year list. Surely the next move is to make it a 1-year list that comes in line with many other sports.
It's probably down the line, yeah. That could well happen.
First things first.
Well, can Selby complete the mini comeback already? 3-0 behind, breaking off in frame 6, a chance to obviously level the scores at 3-all, and having seen how he started in the match, where his safety wasn't good, his ice break wasn't good, his ice break, amazing enough, is only 37, and he's managed to win 2 frames against a player of Ronnie's class. You won't expect that. But the key thing is, he's now got a foothold in the match.
He could have done without the kiss on the green there. He's left Ronnie a possible pot to the middle, and he can get himself up onto the black, just looking at the situation. In 2 shots time as we show you this terrific pot into the middle pocket, but look how he controlled the cue ball. The red at the back of the bunch is available, and if he gets on that in such a way, he can pot it and then go right into the bunch. And there you go. He's absolutely spot on, and he's got to make sure he doesn't finish on the cushion when he splits the reds. Only really developed 1 red, 1 black, 2 reds. Oh, this red goes at the left of the bunch, and he's going to go into them again here.
16.
Would you power it through down with topspin, or would you screw back off the outside red?
I think he's going to just stun it in, and well, he's left himself a delicate
17.
one here. He hadn't got the angle to push through them there, Willie, had he? Because he would have stuck in the reds on that occasion. No, stretching. He was stretching a bit there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 70.
And Mark's left with a situation here, as we show you the stretch and put it on the near jaw. But if he gets on the black here, as we show you that black stay over the pocket, if Mark Selby gets on the black in such a way, he can pot the black and then scatter those reds.
Yes, if it just comes inside the green, which he is doing, anywhere on the cushion's fine. This is perfect. Well, these would be spread far and wide. It's just a case where the white comes away from the pack.
Well, he's a bit unlucky for the white. Oh, it's checked back as well. It was coming towards the blue, and all of a sudden, with all the side, it took off the baulk cushion and checked back. Now, that's very unlucky. Just watch this. It's so much side. It's hit this cushion, and the natural angle, well, the side just brought it towards the green. Bit unlucky, that.
Mark Selby, 8.
I think he's played a good safety shot there. I don't think Ronnie can get through to the potting angle of any red. And he's covered the right-hand side. The middle one of those 3, directly in line from the cue ball, will pot, but of course he can't avoid the cannon on the black. So he's looking at an alternative. And he's found an alternative.
Wow. That's one of the best alternatives I've ever seen, Willie. What a shot he's pulled out there. Okay, look where the cue ball's finished, but talking about a shot to nothing, I mean, what a pot. But if he had missed it, look where the white was. You know, he had the snooker if he doesn't pot it.
Played to perfection, wasn't it? As you rightly say, he made it into a shot to nothing. It looked dangerous when he first looked at the shot, but just needs a good positional shot here. He's been kept off the table for the last frame and a half. Missed a couple of balls, so he needs to get to grip of this match again. If he's straight, he can run through for the black.
5. Six.
Oh, nicely played, that. This is where the game can be so
30.
tough, you know. You've got to go and sit in your seat, and you're the one that's opened all the reds up, and you've got to sit there and watch your opponent pot the balls that you brought into play. Yeah, he opened all those reds up, but he was unfortunate for the white to go way up the other end of the table. Yeah, this was the shot. I mean, he played it perfectly, but just to finish up where he did was a bit unfortunate.
Like all the top break builders are, Ronnie's up there with the
21.
very, very best of all time. All those little kisses they play all the time just to slow the cue ball down.
22.
The next 4 or 5 blacks don't seem a problem, and of course that'll take him way past the winning line, so he's going to open up a gap again of 2 frames.
$29. 30. $37. 38.
Quick glance at the scoreboard just to see how many he needs. He's only with 3 more pots, should secure the frame. I think an important frame for Ronnie to stop the mini comeback, because Mark was getting stronger.
45.
And the best thing you can do is keep your opponent sitting in the seat when he looks like he's hitting top form again. The yellow's the only ball he can pot here. He's 55 in front. So if he pots the yellow, he still needs 1 more red. He knew the pink or blue would leave Mark needing a snooker, but the fact that he's got to take the yellow, he needs another red. Safely in. And this looks pretty good unless he lands tight on this red. No, he's fine. Good
48.
shot that with the rest.
Yes, brilliant shot as the frame was still live at the time, wasn't it? So it was very, very important, and having lost the last 2 frames, there was a little bit of pressure on that. Just asking for the cue ball to be cleaned. Ronnie, it's amazing how good Ronnie is with the rest, Dennis, considering he plays probably 85% of shots when most people would use the rest. He plays them left-handed, so precious little practice. As you can see, they haven't missed a shot with the rest as yet. 4 out of 4 for Selby, 2 out of 2 for Ronnie. And that's the frame over. We now can concentrate on making the 2nd century of this match.
$56. 57.
Just saw the red nut going off the middle of the pocket there, hence the cue ball's just got a little bit closer to the middle pocket than he played. And this time he's lost the cue ball. He tried to leave an angle on this red to pot the red and bring the red out.
63.
So that's why he's playing the double. Well, no centre this time, but Ronnie O'Sullivan's established a 2-frame lead again in this match. That break of 63, more than enough to take him into that 2-frame lead at 4-2.
So much composure, so much calmness. The old unpredictability of the past seems to be, well, a thing of the past, let's be honest. he just looks in control and willing to fight when things don't go his way.
Yeah, he was buzzing around the table there, wasn't he? And it was an important frame for Ronnie because he sort of a couple of lacks of concentration and sort of steadied the ship a little bit. But tremendous pot. I mean, the opening red here, when he was in a bit of trouble, there's no doubt about it. I'll just have a look at this shot. He's in a bit of trouble because he can't see any of the reds down the right-hand side of the table. He picks out this shot. And the lads in commentary were a little bit baffled and perfectly on the brown. What a fantastic pot.
Yeah, 2 frames in a row, actually, where he's taken on something that possibly we didn't see and we wouldn't have expected him to go for.
No, and the thing with that is you've got to get into the ball to get enough on it, but not that much you hit the middle pocket. I mean, it was an absolutely wonderful piece of cueing. He'd be delighted to get that. As I say, I agree with Willie. He should have been 4-0 at the interval. Had a couple of great chances to go 4-0, and then you peg back to 3-2. So it was important to re-establish himself.
Ronnie says that Mark is the best competitor on the tour. He must be very mindful of his fighting capabilities out there.
Absolutely, and that's why when he's on top, they always say, there was a great saying, when you're behind, you never give up, but when you're ahead, you never let up, you know. So he's trying to, you know, enforce that every time he gets in, that he wants to win the frame in one visit and enforce and keep Mark Selby under pressure, because Mark Selby, you know, for me, one of the toughest match players that you'll ever see in the game.
And not short of self-belief either. That's the most important thing.
Well, he has been. That's the one thing that's been documented. He's saying he's lacking a little bit of confidence,
right now,
which is great. Exact, but not at the moment now. But the difference here is, Hazel, when Ronnie's in, he's scoring, he's winning in one visit.
Yeah.
Mark's got to do that now.
Yeah, he's absolutely clinical so far.
Yeah.
Thank you. Frame 7. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
2 more frames to be played in this first session. And this looks as if it could be a snooker. Not that he was playing to get up behind the green, you're playing for the cushion because it's a straightforward escape here. Crowd really do get involved here at the Crucible. They were all urging that white on. It really is a fabulous theatre. We keep saying it, but you know, coming here since 1977, it'd be a brave man that made the decision to take snooker away from the Crucible.
And also, Dennis, I think if you're a snooker fan, you know, once before you consider not watching any snooker anymore, you must come to the Crucible just to see that atmosphere.
Yeah, I was commentating on an earlier match with Terry Griffiths, and Mark Allen was stood in behind us in the commentary box, and we were talking about that, and he said if he won the World Championship, he'd want to win it at the Crucible. He wouldn't want to win it anywhere else. Well, I think the crowd know that that was nowhere near.
A miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Ronnie knows there's no point in putting this back. Well, he's left the possible pot. And there's a slight angle, and this is a Mark Selby special. It's got to be so accurate. He's one of the best in the game at that type of shot, Willie, isn't he?
If that shot was 8 hours ago, Dennis, it would have gone in when he was playing against Robertson. Both hardly missed a long ball in the last 4 frames. It was such a high standard of play. I think sometimes you can probably expect to pot them a little bit too much. He's obviously on such a high as he went to bed last night, and probably didn't sleep very well. And of course, you just come back and expect to knock everything in. Well, it's a brand new day. As I said earlier, he'd love to get out of this session 5-3. Obviously a bonus that he could get out of it 4-4, but he'd be happy with 5-3.
Foul on the miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan foot.
Could be a free ball, this.
Free ball.
Which means if Ronnie wanted, he could pot. Well, you'd think the brown would be the easiest pot. As he's free ball, he'd get 1 point for that.
Brown ball.
Play himself onto a colour.
Yeah.
He stunned it in because if he had a rolled the brown and he could have left the red that's just to the left of the pink, but that's why he stunned it, which made the pot more difficult. But that was an example of how you can beat a 1-4-7 break with a free ball at the start of a frame. In fact, Jamie Burnett from Scotland, I don't know whether it was the UK Championship, he made a break of 148, and that's how he achieved it. He got a free ball at the start of the frame.
I'd love to play that safety shot thicker, but as you can see, when he kissed into the second red, if he plays it harder and thicker, he'd have pushed the red over the corner. That's why he just played it very, very thin. Once again, hasn't got the best of whites, but may have blocked off the right-hand side of the table with the pink. And the left-hand side with the blue, so it may have turned out okay, that one.
Well, he might just have got away with this. Don't know where that red cuts into the middle. It's quite a thin one. Mark's just looking at it, but I think it's too thin. This is what happened. There was just a little bit there, and well, he hit it coming back, not intended. But that red just kept on going, and it mustn't cut in because Mark would have already have played it.
It's deceiving from our commentary position because from here it definitely looks like it does, but obviously let's have a little look with Hawkeye's help whether we think it possibly cuts. Well, I think if he played it, I'd fancy him knocking it in. I know it's very, very thin. He's not going to play it. He's looking at an alternative safety. Just taken over a minute studying this. You have to give Mark a little bit of congratulations here. Oh, this is rolling off a little bit. He played that 4-ball.
Wow, how costly is that going to be? Because he's on the red at the back of the bunch. He's on the red near the black spot. Let's have a look at this again. Looks okay there, looks okay there. Maybe just drifted a fraction, but maybe he got a slight bit of unwanted side. That's nicely controlled. The only thing is, does the black go on its spot? He's looking there, Mark. If not, I don't think the pink spot's available. That's a bit tight, so the referee will have to get his ball marker out and just check that. Of course, you can't have it checked before you pot the colour. You just have to sort of use your discretion as to what you think. Be hoping it doesn't go on the spot. Brendan Moore will get the ball marker and you'll see this. Oh, there's loads of room.
8.
But the red was always available to the middle.
Similar to Ronnie in a few frames ago, Mark will be looking at getting the right angle on the blue very, very shortly. And if he goes into the red that's right in the pink spot, there's a plant on the 2 reds to the left-hand side of the back of the pack that will flick the red away from the black spot. So that's in a couple of shots' time. Wouldn't mind this going on the brown spot, really, because he can just take an extra 7 points with it being up there.
15. $16.
I'm just looking at that pack. He already glanced at it a few shots ago, did Mark Selby.
22.
Now there might possibly
23.
be a red that'll hit another red and go towards this right corner pocket. That's what he's looking at now. He's looking to see if I hit this hard, would it plant a red off. There you've got the perfect picture. Those 3 reds hits the red. So we'll find out shortly. Well, he's on absolutely nothing. Didn't quite get
28.
that as he intended. A bit unlucky, though, once he played the cannon to finish there. Let's have a look. Yeah, he hit it full on, but it just seemed to stick on that red.
Mark Selby, 28. Foul. Mark Selby, 4.
Yeah, Mark just getting the better of the tactical exchanges just at the present. He had to play that with a lot of side, but just caught it a bit thicker than he intended. I think if we get a few tactical frames, I think Mark may come out on top on those. I know Ronnie's one of the best safety players in the game, but you know, he likes to get in amongst the balls and get on with it. But at the moment, Mark's quite content for the games to be a little awkward.
Yes, just before that mistake in the previous frame, I was just about to say you've got to give credit to Mark Selby, struggling out there at the moment and having a high break of only 37. There's a slight chance now. He's got a chance of getting back to 4-3. Needs to play this a little bit powerfully. As you can see there, it only just pots off the left-hand jaw. Doesn't pot off the centre of the pocket.
5.
There's another room there. That's the reason he's probably not guaranteed getting the right side of the blue. Just got enough to run through off the one cushion to get onto the red near the pink spot.
Tell you what, Willie, that shot that he potted in the pocket, there was very little room for it to go as we see the cue ball head onto
10.
the cushion. That's the last place he wanted it. I mean, that would only just go, and he hammered it into the pocket. Great judgment. But this is difficult. Very difficult.
Selby 10.
It was the shot before, Dennis, wasn't it? The blue. For somebody of Mark's class, he would have been distraught to see that cue ball finish glued to the cushion.
One.
This was the blue that Willie was talking about. Played it with topspin, and he got a lot of margin for error. That's the last place he wanted to see it finish. Meanwhile, Ronnie's having to take the more difficult pink. Now then, just gone a little bit ragged this frame. As you can see,
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
only one colour on its spot, that's the black. So, oh, is this a plant? No, no plant. And that, well, that's even tighter than the previous one, Willie.
I was just going to say exactly that, Dennis. It looks identical, doesn't it? Obviously in a different place. But you can certainly see as much of the pocket as he did on the previous one he played, and he hammered that in. But this is a bit further away from the cue ball.
But where's the position? He'll have to screw back off the reds and get up towards the pink, otherwise it'll be the brown. But it's all about the pot. But the white will spin away off that side cushion. Well, that's another cracking accurate pot.
1.
Obviously a lot of people here in the cruiser couldn't see how tight that was. They may have looked at the television screens, but once again it's almost the identical pot, Dennis, wasn't it, to the previous one? Very well done, that was tricky.
Seven.
Just about okay, is he? Brown's just a bit of a distraction there. See, if he was straight on this red, he could just drop it in and leave the pink. But if he runs it in, he'd go towards the cushion again. So now he can still hold it. In fact, that's one
8.
instance where the kick probably helped it slightly. It took the pace out of the cue ball, so you don't mind. Not often you say that. I've never seen a good kick before, but that was one.
Not too sure whether he's got a good angle on the pink to be able to kiss the black away and leave the red. If he hasn't, he can screw back off 2 cushions to get it to the red that's nearest his hand. That's the one he's played. Watch the cue ball. Wanted to go around the back of it, and he has gone around the back. Excellent shot.
14.
Yeah, this is why I call him Sat-Nav Selby. I mean, look at that, finding his way around the back of that red.
Well, as you can see, he
50.
played just to kiss the red away from the black there. But he's 48 points in front. If that kiss had worked, he'd have been under frame. Might be an idea to push the brown on the side cushion and try and get the white in behind the yellow and green. Thin clip on the brown, that's probably as good a choice as anything, Dennis, isn't it?
Sounds good to me, Willie.
Mark Selby 15.
Yeah, this was the shot where he was trying that delicate little cannon. If he had it just flicked off it, he'd have been perfectly on the black. And there's old Hawkeye again. One of these days he'll mess up. Well, look at that for a pot, but more importantly, what a great pot that was, because he knew if he knocks this in, he would get Ronnie in all sorts of trouble.
Closest to the yellow and green as possible to leave Ronnie no cushions but the top one.
Selby 1.
And that's pretty good. He's going to have to come off the ball cushion now. Now he's playing the one, I would think, directly behind the black off 3 cushions. But if he kisses it half ball, he'll leave the red along the cushion. There's the 1, 2, 3. It's come off 2 square. Didn't go anywhere near where he wanted to then.
Foul on this. Mark Selby 4.
Yeah, I think he's just looking to see if he could hit, because he definitely could hit the line. So maybe my first line's a little bit out, but yeah, he's looking at the spot where he hits. So my first part of the line is slightly out, but that's what he's after. And as Willie said, if he doesn't catch the red correctly, he's going to leave the other red.
Thank you.
So he'd have to be absolutely spot on.
Of course, if he misses it this time, Dennis, he'll be put into bat again, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Misses it the third time, Selby will be enough in front, and once again it's squared up off that third cushion.
Foul on the miss.
So if he misses it next
Mark
time,
Selby 4.
he'll need snookers.
Can he make the adjustment?
Okay.
Let's have a look. Somewhere there with a little bit more side would get him there. He's done the same again, I think. If it runs on, oh, it's going to be the black if it reaches. So as you said, Willie, and
Foul.
it's a free ball by the looks of it.
Mark Selby 4.
Might even be a free ball, I'm not sure. Maybe not. Maybe he can hit the red that's closest to the corner pocket, but
Couldn't have the balls replaced, of course, because he now needs snookers, so he's took the option of putting Ronnie back into play from there. If he goes around the back of the brown, he could get him behind the yellow and green here. I'm surprised. Actually, he's hit that poorly. I'm surprised Mark put him back into bat there. If that had gone right, Dennis, it would have been a real tough one to hit. But as it happens, it should be safe now. And should Mark go on to win this frame, it will be 4-3, and of course he still hasn't made a break above 37. That's amazing.
well, he hasn't won this frame yet because he could be snookered here. It's okay, but he wanted to get tight in behind the green and yellow. There's an easy escape route for Mark Selby here. although just looking at things, he's got to be careful that he doesn't leave Ronnie in amongst the reds, because if he can take 3 reds, 3 blacks, he's right back in this frame. He only needs 1 snooker. I mean, there's no way he's going to not escape from this. But he's just a bit concerned that he doesn't leave the chance for Ronnie to pot the 3 reds, 3 blacks. Doesn't necessarily have to get all blacks. You can take a pink with one of these reds, which is what he's played for.
1. Seven.
I have a funny feeling he tried to
8.
bring the black into play there. .48 behind. Just 43
13.
in the table. That means he now needs 2 snookers. That was why it was so important that he got the black into play when he tried to just flick it out.
40.
Just reckoning the score up, but he definitely needs 2 snookers. That's if he pots the pink. Frame's over if he misses this.
$20. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 20.
As JV says, there's always a gap.
And because of that gap, Dennis, he can possibly get the white in behind green and yellow here. No, I couldn't see enough of it. Couldn't see the right-hand side. Ronnie obviously would be reluctant to pot the red, but it's not easy to get safe from there. He's 51 points behind. Sorry, 41 points behind, so 2 snookers needed, and he'd like to keep that red on. If the green was just a couple of inches behind the yellow, I suppose he'd risk getting, well, he's almost guaranteed to get 1 snooker. But he needs to get right up close. If he takes the red colour, he needs to get right up close to the yellow.
He's decided to do that. Doesn't matter if he takes the pink, he'll still only need 2 snookers, so important he gets the cue ball exactly where he wants it here.
$7.
He can get the snooker, but he hasn't hit that. He's a little wry smile
Ronnie
as he walked
O'Sullivan,
away. He knew he'd miss it. But as Willie said, they weren't in a perfect position, the yellow and green as they were. Been a rather awkward frame, this. A lot of tactical play because of the way the balls were. Ron is just having a think, but you would
Mark
expect
Selby
him to concede.
And the frame.
And he does. And Mark Selby, his highest break is still only 37, but he's playing some very good match. Snooker out there. He's just one behind, 4-3 to Ronnie O'Sullivan.
And so a very important last frame coming up of this session. And I can assure you it won't be a slow frame. And one of the reasons why it won't is Ronnie O'Sullivan as a catalyst in making frames quick. And if we take a look at this bit of analysis of Ronnie O'Sullivan playing a safety shot from early on in that frame, and that was a scrappier frame as you like to see with Ronnie O'Sullivan. If you remember going back all the way in the frame, Mark Selby had tried to come off the side cushion, left the cue ball woefully short, foul and a miss. What can Ronnie O'Sullivan do? Well, he could put him back again. That slows things down. Or what he could do is play the thin safety shot off the side of the pack, cue ball down the table into that area, and also, you know, just shifting a few reds not too far. It wouldn't disturb the pack that much. But what Ronnie O'Sullivan did was a much more aggressive safety shot, trying to make something happen, splitting the reds as quickly as he could, putting the cue ball down the table. In this instance, he actually left Mark Selby a pot, but it forces the issue. It makes his opponent go for shots. It opens the reds up. It makes it far more attacking.
Frame of this session, Mark Selby to break.
I couldn't agree with Stephen more. That's the way Ronnie likes to play. But, you know, you've got to give credit, as Dennis mentioned at the close with that last frame, to win 3 frames with a high break of 37 just shows you what a great match player Mark Selby is. And now we obviously know he's got a chance to level at 4-4. Can you imagine that? O'Sullivan's dominated the session and Selby could come out 4-4. It might happen.
Can just get to the potting angle of this one. Play that with quite a bit of right-hand side and probably caused him to miss the pot, but he had to make sure he got round the back of the black and reds.
They're the ones he was potting virtually every time last night.
One.
We know that the red above the black pots. This was a good pot. Nine feet 3. Total length of that pot and right into the heart of the pocket. How is he going to find a gap? If he finds the gap, it's too hard. Too hard. End of break.
I think he thought he might just cannon that red
6.
there, the way he was looking. And he would have been on that red that you mentioned to the right of the black. But it just slipped past the red that he was hoping to cannon.
Mark Selby 6.
Because that angle that he did take, if he plays it with more pace, he can come off the cushion and out onto that. But he must have just slightly misjudged the cannon there, or the angle it took.
But once again, a very poor safety from Mark. He hasn't got anywhere near the baulk cushion. He found the baulk cushion every shot, as did Neil Robertson yesterday. All of a sudden, Ronnie's now gone to sleep a little. Concerned about pushing a red over. As you can see, they're just seeing what happens. Steve was talking about the way Ronnie plays thick safety shots. You know, Ronnie would probably be trying to play the red at the top of the pack to make sure he brings a few reds out. Mark's taking the thin one on, which of course hardly moves anything into play. And once again, is he called a baulk colour? This is very unlike Selby. It really is. I mean, he's done so well to win 3 frames the way he's played.
Well, he's looking at a shot. If he takes this on, there is a pot, but there's such a small gap to go through. But I think he'll settle for the safety. But sometimes when he gets in a mood, he is looking at it now. You watch. Oh no, he's playing a thin safety, I think, surely. Yeah. But he did look at a very, very difficult shot. But I think that's a better choice. It's just his focus throughout this year's World Championship, Ronnie. I can't remember him once playing the wrong shot. You know, a few seasons ago, if he got a bad kiss or a nudge, he'd have a go at something that he shouldn't have really taken on. Hasn't done that. He's played all the correct shots. And that's why he's here, going for his hat-trick of world titles. That's not the best. Much too thick on that one. It might be another awkward frame. Look at the black with those 4 reds there. If he takes this up into the corner, this will be a test of his cueing, because it looks to be just off straight. Yep, need to push that cue through in a fairly straight line. No. Maybe somebody upstairs in the Champions Lounge watching that shot. If that red header went across the cushion and in, that's how the first maximum break was ever made of the Crucible Theatre. Cliff Thorburn potted one like that across the cushion and created history after that.
Foul. Mark Selby full.
Maybe just lost a little bit of focus just at the moment. This is the last frame of this session, and as we said earlier, if Mark Selby gets out of this 4-all, he'll be absolutely over the moon.
Yes, and if he can pot this, he'll play into the bunch of reds. So, okay, there's no need to bring reds into play, but he want, you know, just play it firm, bring all those reds into play. The black's had a commission. There's every chance he's going to finish on the pink or a bought colour. If he tries to start playing with side to get a gap, it makes the pot harder. Plain ball, he goes straight into that bunch. That's what he's done, and he's unlucky. It was worth the risk. It really was worth the risk, and he knows it.
One.
But now, Dennis, how does he get safe? Well, I think he's going to have to just play. Well, the red's gone up the other end of the table, as we show you this here. I mean, if he hits that half ball, he's going to head back up the table. And the worst possible outcome, because just to land on a colour with the red up the other end of the table makes it difficult. And if he played to just land on the blue, he'd leave a pot to the right corner pocket. He could maybe run to the black, but he would need a lot of help to reach it, to bridge over those 4 reds. That's what he's thinking about now. And if he tries to come off the side cushion and hit the yellow, he's got the red up the other end of the table that he can leave. So what a situation that Mark Selby is faced with here. Well, if anyone can find his way out of a situation like this, you'd have to say it's Mark Selby, but how's he going to do it? I mean, if he could land full ball on the green, it'd be safe, but
green ball.
He's going to try that. He's going to have to play this with lots of side and hopefully just land full ball on the green. If he slips past it, he leaves the red. Well, it's a great attempt. It's a great attempt. He still left a possible pot, though. He was trying to get it right on top of the green there. Full ball. This red wouldn't have been available for Ronnie.
Well, same scenario, isn't it? Mark had no option but to play into the bunch of reds below the pink. Ronnie, if he takes this on, has got no option to play into the 3 reds near the black. And these testing moments for Ronnie. He's not been queuing well these last couple of frames. But well done. Has he got a bit of good fortune? Not this time.
I think he can cue at the yellow here. The red won't be in his way. So this is just as difficult as the red he's just knocked in. The red's just a slight distraction there. Now, where's he going to finish here?
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
At first glance, it's not that bad. The red to the right of the black cuts in. The one near the left corner is difficult with the rest, so he had a bit of a result there, had Ronnie.
This is the result that Dennis was talking about. Once you miss the yellow, you're entitled to leave a red on. But Ronnie's just got into his shell at the moment, struggling. Well, I can only presume that Mark Selby can stun this in and probably finish on the pink in the middle, but this is a tough pot. The one next to the black that Dennis talked about, the cut, looks as easy as this one. Where's the red going this time? He's had one go at one of these.
Thank you.
What is it? Left it right over the hole. Probably felt the only red he could leave on was the one he was going for, and what's happened? He's left it.
Not a straightforward positional shot, as we show you that red almost go into the pocket. He attempted it. But to get away from that angle with the cue ball, he's got to get plenty of action on this. And he's got plenty of action on it, I can tell you. To get that wide up into that position from there was excellent. You could see from that side-on shot, the pause and then delivering the cue. I mean, there's not a great deal of players that can create that amount of cue power to play that shot.
Six.
Yes, in a few shots' time, should Ronnie continue the break here, the black will be in play because the red to the right of the black will pot. So concentrate on pink and blue for a few shots.
Seven.
He's going through a spell at the minute where he's not got complete control of the cue ball. Well, that's the total points on the tournament of these two players all the way to the final. Can you believe that? 5-6, 7-4, 5-6, 7-4. Unbelievable. Just using the reds to try and slow the cue ball down. He's done that, but he's faced with a tricky one. Still pots though.
12.
Oh, that's good from that position.
13.
Awkward cueing, and to judge that cutback, he's given himself a great chance now. over 2 days, 4 sessions. You set yourself targets. You want to win the little mini sessions 3-1, and if you can win the
70.
session 5-3, you'll be quite happy. Anything more is a bit of a bonus. The chances there
18.
for Ronnie to get out of this with a 5-3 advantage. It's not a straightforward run to the winning line in this frame.
24.
That little triangle of reds, well, one of them at the back will be available eventually.
$25.
A nice little cannon here when potting the pink. We'll develop both these reds. And you've got a perfect picture there of the little screw shot just flicking the other red out of the way.
$31. $32.
Well, there's a 10% difference in the pot success rate, and that's purely because Mark's not been scoring heavily at all when he gets in the balls. And if you'd have told Mark Selby you're going to play 8 frames against O'Sullivan this afternoon, after 8 frames you've only made 1 break over 30, what scoreline would you be pleased
38.
with? Would he have said I'd be pleased to win a frame? Well, that's not the scenario, because he could actually win all 4.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
He could win 4
38.
frames. Can you believe that? I was just going to say it'd be bite your hand off to win 3 out of the session. A chance to get right back at level at 4-4 going into tonight's session.
I don't think anyone seen that coming.
$1.
No, he's got an angle on the pink here. He can play for the red I mentioned, the one at the back, and here's the black. Or he could try and, well, he's finished on that one. In fact, it's flicked the black out.
7.
But, he could finish on the black here, possibly. So all
8.
of a sudden, the roles are reversed here.
$15. $16.
Well, Ronnie O'Sullivan can just sit and, well, he's hoping that something can go wrong, but he looks fully focused here, Mark Selby. He didn't expect this chance, and he's going to grab it here.
23.
No problem getting on that
24.
red. That's to the right of the cue ball. And no problem with the one up by the yellow.
Yeah, I suppose he'd like to leave an angle on this red to screw up for the blue or bought colour off this last red. And he's got that.
31.
Decision time. Do I roll it in and leave a half ball black and have to play a risky positional shot, or do I screw up for the pink or blue?
$32.
Has he got the correct angle to screw back? He's got to miss the middle pocket with lots of reverse side. Yeah, you can see where he's hitting the side. Now watch the white when it hits the cushion below the pocket. Oh, this is a great shot. Needs to pull up. He's maybe hit it too well. He has hit it too well. That's amazing.
38.
Amazing. So another twist to this final frame.
I'm surprised he could pop the pink and hit the cushion where it did. If we get a chance to show you the pink again, just look at the angle on the pink here. I mean, it looked like he could only possibly get 2 inches past the jaws of the middle pocket. And he actually developed an angle to get virtually 1.5 foot past the middle pocket. Amazing.
Yeah, he just got too much reverse side onto that. What a shot he's faced with here. Yeah, see, I think it's with these very lively cloths you can make that sort of angle. That's all he could do with this one.
Mark Selby, 38.
Well, he needs another chance. But that was his highest break of the match so far, and it's only 38. And could he get out of this session 4-4?
Thank you.
Well, he nearly pushed that red on. Left a straight pot for the middle. How's the length with this? Looks pretty good. There's always room around the back of that.
Mark Selby, 4.
Mark will have this replaced.
Yeah, the green, please.
I think the green was on its spot, I think. Might have been just off the spot, but yeah, just below the spot there. Looks pretty good. Yeah, that's about spot on, Brendan.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. As I say, that red's far enough away from the cushion
Mark.
to make this
Thanks.
not a straightforward escape. Well, you'll settle for the outcome. You never really know where they're going to go, but that'll do nicely. Thank you very much.
If the white had been 6 inches further to left, it's an easy safety shot, but where it is now, it's a very difficult safety shot because the double kiss is on. What way would you play this down? Would you try and just hit it thick and try and leave the white at this end?
Well, if he plays the thin one, he can send it across and back over behind the black, but he'd have to be so accurate with that because he could cannon into the pink as he's pointing there. I think the red's just slightly off the cushion, so he'll have to be absolutely spot on with this. Oh, he's got the double kiss. Where's the red? Where is the red going? Well, absolutely amazing. What a
Quiet,
fluke.
please.
Well, you could hear the cheers from the Selby supporters. You can hear the groans and moans from the O'Sullivan supporters. No, I can't believe it.
Mark Selby, 1.
It's amazing. The tension of a final frame of a session. Amazing. Mark maybe should have just given himself a few more seconds there.
Well, this black is a shot that. Well, if he'd have been playing really great, and that would cost him, you know, the frame, he'd have been even more distraught. But the fact that he's gone out of this session,
5.
if Ronnie clears by only losing 5 frames,
9.
it's hard to kind of put it in perspective. You know, there's just missed an easy ball to probably level at 4-4, but Having only 2 breaks over 30, he's got to be pleased with 5-3.
14.
Well, luckily the black's where it is because Ronnie's got the right angle on the pink, so there's no problem at all with this. Ronnie O'Sullivan started brilliantly. Breaks of 69, 102, 63 again later on. It looked like Ronnie could run away with the first session. He'd be pretty pleased now to have won the first session by 2 frames. Wasn't awe-inspiring in the second half. Ronnie O'Sullivan played well in the first half. Mark Selby got it back into the match, but he still trails at the end of the first session by 5 frames to 3.
Well, what a first session of this year's final in the Dafferbat World Championship, and we're just drawing breath here, guys, because, you know, for all of his brilliance early on, he only manages to come out 2 frames in front there. That was a fighting performance from Selby in the end.
A very fighting performance, and that's the way he can beat Ronnie. You know, he's not going to out-pot him, he's not going to out-break build him, but he can get to him. You know, he has called him the torturer in the past, but how crucial will that black be? You know, in the whole context of the whole match, because a 4-4, you know, he would have been, you know, so happy to be 4-4 the way he's played. You know, highest break, you know, only 30 plus, which is very, very low for someone of his class. But to get out of 4-4 would have been amazing. I mean, 5-3 he'd still be happy, as Willie Thorne said, but
I don't think he will. I honestly think, I mean, I said beforehand, if he got out of it 5-3, he'd be happy, but the circumstances of the last frame, he'd be kicking himself. He won't be happy with 5-3 after that, because he's missed a sitter to get up to come and take the yellow and take the clearance. Yes, you'd have offered him 5-3 and he'd have gone, yeah, but when he's had the opportunity and he's missed the black, I think he'd be kicking himself.
We did think this might have been a runaway early on, Ronnie 3-0 up, but suddenly this looks like it could be a proper test of his composure here.
Absolutely, but what it does, that frame, is it swings the balance back into Ronnie's favour, because, like, you know, he was all out of sorts for a couple of frames there, making uncharacteristic misses and bad safety shots as well. So you never know.
Well, that's Act 1. We will all draw a breath and get ready for Act 2, because we'll be back just enough time for a quick bite to eat, and then you lot can get back in front of the telly. I hope you will, at 7 o'clock, because we'll have 9 more frames to play this evening. So I hope you've enjoyed the first instalment of this Crucible final. So much more to come from us all here. For now, in Sheffield, it's goodbye.